All right, well, this is what's being said in the Spanish newspapers.
What did I just tell you?
Quiero pedir disculpas, talking about Vini Jr. wanting to apologize, and plan de paz, a peaceful plan or a plan for peace. That is exactly what they are saying. Xabi Alonso had to speak about the Vini Jr. saga in his presser ahead of their La Liga action this weekend. This is what he had to say.
Para mí fue un comunicado muy valioso, muy positivo, en el que Vini demostró la honestidad. Él habló desde el corazón, lo que significa este club y lo que quiere dar. Y para mí lo más importante es lo que dijo a sus compañeros, a la afición, al club. Y para mí yo me quedé muy satisfecho, como te he dicho antes, y desde el miércoles se cerró el tema. Ninguna represalia.
Right, case closed, no punishment. We learned earlier this week that Real Madrid were not going to punish Vini Jr. for what we saw during El Clasico. We thought, and Stevie, you said earlier this week that the manager has to do something. And now that he says he's not doing it, do you agree with him?
No, shocked? Bad move. It's going to bite him. Completely the wrong move. Somebody steps out of line like that, you have to discipline them in some way. And in Vinny's case, the only way you really hurt Vinny is not by fining him or anything like that, it's by not playing him. Because that's why he's going crazy, because he's not getting the time on the field. Now, if I'm the coach and somebody steps out of line for the first time, I'll accept the apology to the team, because it's the first time. I'm not going to do it again. It was one of those moments, a rush of blood, whatever.
But he didn't even mention the manager in that apology.
Of course he doesn't, because he's not interested. This is apology. This guy's already apologised previously. This guy's already done the same thing previously. But yet you're going to let him away with an apology? No, I'm sorry, no.
He hasn't apologised to the team. He hasn't apologised to Xabi Alonso.
Yeah.
And we did a bit of this yesterday. Did a bit of this Sunday. Did a bit of this Tuesday.
And you probably will have to when Real Madrid play this weekend.
Did a bit of this yesterday, a lot of this yesterday, doing a bit of it today. I think we should be disciplined. I think today's producer should be taken off the show next week. Well, I'm not here, I don't care. But, for bringing it up again. But what happened yesterday, we got Gustavo Hoffmann back on again. And he said the reason he's not apologised directly to the manager is because he believes, Vinicius Jr., rightly or wrongly, that there are other players who may follow. There are other players who are not happy with the methods. And how many times do we hear that?
I do love that word.
So, yeah, and we discussed it yesterday. And I said, look, how about the method that's got you a Clasico win that you didn't get last year? How about the method that's got you to the top of the league? How about the method that got Bayer Leverkusen their first ever title in Germany, which they did under Xabi Alonso? Is he going to throw all that out the window for a bunch of babies? And there might not all be babies, but he's the biggest one, isn't he, Vinicius Jr.? He's a great talent, don't get me wrong. He's a fantastic player. You love watching him. He'll do some brilliant things, but he's a gigantic baby. The Ballon d'Or was absolute proof of that. And Real Madrid, by the way, as a club, were not far behind. So if there is some mini mutiny behind the scenes and Vinicius Jr. thinks he's got a bunch of followers coming his way, then maybe for Xabi Alonso, when they get the odd bad result, that's going to be a problem.
Yep.
But maybe these followers that Vinicius Jr. thinks and his mates and his teammates, maybe they won't come. Maybe they won't follow him to this promised land of, going against the manager, because they'll see the results. They're getting game time. And it just all feels needless. It really does. I mean, this should have been dealt with
properly.
By Monday morning last week after that Clasico win. This should have been absolutely done with. He should have been in the manager's office. He should have been given a dressing down. A statement should have come out, moved on. But what we had, according to Gustavo yesterday, was Vinicius' team.
Yeah.
Unhappy with his amount of minutes he's getting. I mean, come on. Yeah. There is bad decisions from the player in terms of the off-field stuff, but when you're listening to bad management and bad advice, that makes you double down, and that's what he's doing.
Frank, what do you make of how this has all panned out and Xabi's decision to not punish Vini Jr. at all?
I'm against, and for the same reason that the guys, you have to put your foot down and explain to the guys, that I'm the boss, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and I don't care about your apologies. Good for the teammates, but me, I have a job, and my job is to be above you and to make sure all the squad is happy. And if the squad is happy, is when I decide to substitute you, you shouldn't send the message that you shouldn't go out because you're better than anybody else. You're not better than anybody else, because on that situation I needed some fresh players to keep the result, maybe to score another goal. There is a reason why I do that. I don't do that to punish you. I do that for the squad. And nobody is bigger than the club. Nobody is bigger as a player than the coach. The coach has to be respected. And if the result don't go, don't worry. The coach will be the first to go, because it's hard to get out of 30 players instead of one coach. So that's not a problem. So I think Xabi Alonso, for his own sake, should have put his foot down and say, no, that's not enough. I'm sorry. You're going to be punished. You're going to be on the bench. You know, one time it's a mistake. A second time it's a stupidity. And I want you to know how to stop that and how to think that you're better or above everybody else. And he didn't do that. So what the others going to do? I think Stevie alluded it the last time I was in the show. They say, well, you know, he didn't do that for Stevie. It's for Vini. I'm going to do the same and show to the world that I'm above the coach.
But if the result goes the way we think it will, it's Valencia, the third bottom of La Liga, they're struggling. To be honest, I'd sit him on the bench at best, and I wouldn't bring him on. I'd just leave him there. Particularly if they go 2 or 3 up, I'd leave him. Then the big question will be for Xabi Alonso, and even in Vinicius Junior's mind, is that Liverpool game, which is a Champions League game.
Yeah.
Now that's the crux of this is he's put his manager in a position, because what if they were playing Atletico Madrid in the Madrid derby, which they've already played this season and lost. But what if that was the game upcoming this week? What if it was Espanyol who are flying? What if it was Villarreal that are flying? What if it was a game against one of the real top teams in Spain that was going to be one of the defining games of the season? What would Alonso's decision have to be because of Vinicius' lack of actions or lack of responsibility being taken towards his manager? The fact that Valencia has kind of fallen on Alonso's lap in a sense, because had it been a game of a much bigger magnitude, and I say that with all respect because you can lose against weaker teams, but it just makes it a little easier, I would imagine, to make a stance. But I get the feeling this is not the last time we'll be having this conversation.
Alonso has absolutely lost the opportunity to stamp his authority. 100%. 100%. You know, he probably wouldn't. There's a chance he probably wouldn't have played Vini in this game to save him for Liverpool. And if that's the case, then you be smart and you tell everybody he will not play against Valencia, because you know he's not playing anyway, but nobody else knows that. And then you look smart, but you've made a statement. This whole no punishment, doing nothing, has done nothing but just leave the whole thing in the middle of the clouds, because nobody knows now. And Alonso, for me, is a big loser. He's made no statement whatsoever. And regardless of whether Vini plays against Valencia or not, he's lost the opportunity to stamp that authority.
Welcome to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Well, from a negative at Real Madrid to a positive at Real Madrid, and that is this man right here, Kylian Mbappé. He won the European Golden Boot. He got one of many trophies I'm sure he's going to add to his cabinet after scoring 31 goals last season.